My name is Lizzie. Each few weeks, I'm bringing along a different origami fold to encourage you to take some time out for your self-care. This time, I am bringing the most beautiful and most Japanese of subjects, really. Beautiful, beautiful cherry blossom. It's coming up to that very special time of year in Japan, but we can enjoy it across the world. That you just have a very brief time when the cherry blossoms are out, and to just rejoice in that. It's fleeting, and to just appreciate that beauty, and then the petals fall, and obviously then the year progresses, but it's a moment to really celebrate nature, the beauty, the power of it, and how you quite know when it's going to happen. In Japan there are cherry blossom forecasts, and you can see where it will arrive, and people really celebrate it. So thinking so much of Japan at this time, I really wanted some kind of a cherry blossom fold. So this fold, from what I understand, I've learnt it from a few different places, but I think it comes from a Japanese origamist called Nakano Mitsue, and it seems to be, I think, from the mid-1980s, and it's actually made of different petals that you then glue together. But in a way, I think that's a little bit like cherry blossom as well. Those petals could also fall apart. They are separate. I've had just a little experiment. This is just me playing around, of doing a background which you could stick it onto. Can you see there's the green in the middle as well? So it's like a sepal of the flower. So a kind of a base, and actually I found as a display it's quite nice to have one with a bit of green behind it. So I'll show you how to do this, which is very simple, and something maybe others will have done as well, but it was just me playing around, and so something else to offer. So we'll make the cherry blossom first of all. You'll be making out of 5 separate pieces of paper. It's up to you what size you do it. This piece here is made from taking a normal 15 by 15 centimeters piece of origami paper and then cutting it into 4, and each one becomes a petal. Obviously you need to do 5, so it's always that little bit more. But I'm going to show you how to make a petal, the idea of how you can stick them together, and I'll also show you how to make this green background, which you can also use, I think, as a decoration, which is quite nice. So grab yourself something to press on. Grab yourself some paper. I have made 4 petals already, so I've been a little organised, but I'm going to show you how to make one of the petals, which is very, very pleasing to do. So first of all, I'm going to make just the standard size for origami paper, which is half. It's an A5 piece of paper. Taking a corner, lining it up. Just take your time. It's all about relaxation, so if you go nice and slowly, you'll just enjoy the process. Nice sharp pointy corner. That corner doesn't look very pointy, so I'm going to redo it till I'm happy with it. That's it. That looks better. That's it. And then I'm going to remove the rectangle. Always useful for lists, I find. And I've been enjoying making cherry blossom and putting them up on a door inside, and it's just making me feel the uplift that spring brings you. So to make each petal, I'm actually going to take out a quarter of this. So I'm going to fold this in half. This is not yet the origami. I'm just making a square, that's all. So folding this in half. Okay, I can just tear it. So you could do a bigger cherry blossom if you wish, but the size will be around this size for a cherry blossom, which feels to me about right. So, I'm going to halve it there. And it's very pleasing to fold. It's very beautiful. Right, I tried to see whether there was a way to contact Nakano Mitsue, but I couldn't find anything online. So it's been shared quite a bit. It's so beautiful. It deserves to be enjoyed, I think. So if you've got origami paper, this would be your white side. So fold it inwards, just to make that diagonal line like so. There we go. Those nice strong folds. And then open it up. Easier for you to do it on a table, I think. Take the outside line and bring it along that diagonal there. I'm going to bring the camera down, I think. Just make sure it's nice and sharp and pointy. There we go. Like so. And then the same with the other side, bringing it to the central line. There we go. So I'm going to turn it this way up. It's like a little kite. So you can fold it now over, so forward, nice and tightly over that there. There we go. So actually I'm going to open up those sides and bring that down, tuck that down. So make sure it looks in this position. There we go. Next I'm going to bring this outside line to line up along that centre. So I am taking this and I'm lining up there. There we go. Again, I do it on a solid surface, and you can do it better. And I'll just show you. So you see, so it's this outside line and then bringing it along that vertical line. So they will meet together. That's it. There we go. Try and be as accurate as you can. The good thing is with paper, you can always reposition. That's what I'm doing. Until I'm happy it looks about right. There we go. There is no such thing as perfection, but often origami brings out a certain amount of perfection, which is very pleasing. There we go. So it's hopefully looking like that. I can imagine it could be all sorts of things actually, can you? So I just want you to fold it back along that halfway line. There we go. So it's this shape, and we're going to open up this side and we're going to do a fold from that corner across. So I'm just bringing this up and keeping this nice, again, all nice and lined up there, like so. And then it's very pleasing. You take this part and you tuck it into this fold. There we go. And then close it. So it should be looking like that. You can imagine it's becoming a petal. Now this little bit that sticks out, just fold it forward like so, and then open it up again. So you've actually got all the ingredients now there. It's a very pleasing, very relaxing fold, which is just such a joy to fold yourself a good little display of cherry blossom. So get your finger, open up this pocket, and first of all you can add that nice little notch, which is so distinctive, I think, for showing beautiful cherry blossom in Japan. Very much that lovely notch at the end. So just push this forward, and you're sort of just feeling along those lines, pushing it forward. You might sort of close it up and then open it up again. So that's a nice little shape. One last thing is pop your finger down to the bottom of this pocket and then bring it up all the way in the middle. It pretty much reaches that little triangle there, and squash it down. That's it. And then open up that little pocket with that notch. And that's it. That's a petal that you could look in that could be can contribute towards cherry blossom. I mean, you could enjoy it in its own right, but I think it does need to come together. But it's lovely to think that the petals will fall off. They are separate things. So here goes. I have made 4 already. And what you can do, I would definitely recommend paper clips rather than pegs, because I found my pegs started to fall apart when I did this. But all you need to do is pop some glue there next to that one like that, and a paper clip. And then I rather love doing something like this in the evening and then leave it on the radiator to dry out overnight. So you'll be able to build this up. Bit of PVA glue there, paper clip nice and lined up, and you'll be able to get all 5 there. Now that's the classic and how it's meant to be done, really. But if you wanted to make a green background, for me it felt like I just wanted to show a little bit of the spring, the green that's coming as well, then I just had a go. I just invented it myself, but it's quite simple, of making this green piece, and actually then what you do is you stick those petals into each individual one. So actually I have glued each of them into there, and then I've also got that little bit of green sticking out. See, you've got a little green bit in the middle. So this is just a little variation. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. There we go. So it involves making a pentagon, which is such a joy. I've done this before for Christmas things actually, but it's a nice thing to do. So first of all, for the petals being a quarter of a standard size, we're actually going to use a standard size piece of origami paper to make a pentagon. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So this is the kind of add-on extra if you feel like trying something else on top of the blossom. But I rather liked it on my door. I thought it looked rather pretty to have a green as well. I'm showing you just in white so you can see clearly. So getting an A5 piece of paper like so. There we go. And I'm going to again make my standard size square. And in a way, there's not really right or wrong with size. I think it happens to fit our size paper very easily, but it feels very comfortable in your hands. But you could use whatever size, not right or wrong. It's all about proportions, really. Here we go. Removing that rectangle. Right, so how to make a pentagon. I had to remind myself, but I really enjoy this actually. So we take a piece of paper and fold it in half. And I've got the open side at the top there, because you definitely want to make sure later on that you cut. Oh yeah, you need to get scissors ready to make the pentagon. That's it. You can't do it from folding, I don't think. Maybe you can and have areas tucked away, but I think it can be allowed. There we go. So it's kind of open at the top there. I'm going to fold it in half again, like so. And you don't have to do the folds too strong, it's just to see it there. That's it. Right, so it just so happens I have already this diagonal line, but what I want you to do is effectively a little cross, but actually all you need is the little cross in the middle, so you don't need to fold all the way along. So I'm lifting this up. Obviously it's already got a line, but that's okay. But really I'm just looking to push in the centre there. That's it. And then the other corner, bringing that down so that I can make a little cross. So just in the centre really. That's it. And opening it up. So can you see I've got a little cross there. Next I am going to take this bottom point and I'm going to lift it and aim it directly in the middle of that cross. So it's such a cool way of making a pentagon. Can you see? So it was that bottom corner and I lifted it up and brought it to that point. Exactly. There we go. And then squash it down like so. And next I'm going to take this line and bring it back up here. So I'm folding this in half. Like so. Again, be as accurate as you can. It's very pleasing to do so. There we go. Next, I'm going to take this bottom edge and line it up along that line. You can see that's the halfway line, and we're going to be ignoring halfways now, because this is a pentagon. It will be a pentagon anyway. So it'll go from a nice point there. This is before we start folding, but it's I like a little challenge. There we go. It looks an intriguing shape, doesn't it? So as it is now, I just want you to fold it in half back. That's it. They should all line up nice and neatly, all these layers. I hope. There we go. Nice squash. I can almost imagine it's, I don't know, something interesting wrapped up there. So you've got this line here. that's the line that you chop through, and that will give you the pentagon. A little piece of magic, this. So I'm going to follow this line. You do need scissors for this. And that's waste. And let's open it up. So here we go, our pentagon. Ta-da! Little piece of magic. Right, to make this sepal, it's kind of like an interesting little star that's 3D that I thought the petals could pop in, and they do quite nicely. You have to glue them in again as well, but it keeps them nice. What I want you to do, maybe if we turn it over, is if you make each line through the corner a mountain fold, so it's sticking up. There we go. So they mostly are, but some of them require a bit of changing the position. So that's your first mission. That's it. Oh, one more over here need to do. And then what you should be able to do, they're all stick out, then you should be able to just gather them up. A little bit of playing around. It's good for the concentration, this. There we go. So it's looking like that. Now, what I want you to do next is take the top and bring it down to the bottom. So we're just halving it, and it's really just giving it a nice strong fold. I suddenly thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a green background that they could go on? I thought someone should do it, and I thought, why not me? Why not give it a little play around? There we go. Right, so next this gets interesting, but it's quite fun. So we want it to look, at the moment it looks squashed, so let's make it a bit more 3D. Just opening up a little bit like that. There we go. So now we're going to be working on the underneath. And the idea with this is we're going to need it to get flat. We're going to need to get it flat. And so to do that, if you open this up, definitely need to see what I'm doing. I need to see what I am doing. So it's this open area. What you need to do is for each of these, at the moment it would close up completely. I'm realising how difficult it is to explain things now. I'm gonna kind of open it up for each of these, and what I'm aiming for is the fold will be from that halfway line, from this halfway line inside. So this bit effectively will stick up. Just realising what a puzzle this is, but that's part of the fun. Right, so for each side, what I want you to do is to place the fold. You're going to be adding a fold which comes down from the centre there, and you line up. Can you see there's a halfway line each time? So lining it up there so that you get a little bit sticking out, this line across the edge and squashing down. So you're doing this on each side, and at first it feels a bit tricky, but it will flatten it down to make the shape. So each time I am going from, even harder into the camera, but I am going from the halfway line, and I'm bringing that halfway line, she says, definitely not into the camera. So each time I'm sort of flattening it down, and I'm lining up this halfway line to that point where it touches the arm, and that's what you're doing on each side. If you do that on each side, you will find it will produce a nice flat base. I agree it's a bit of a puzzle, but that's the fun of it. You will get there. Can you see each time I'm lining up that halfway line with where it touches there, and that's what's going to flatten it down. that's it. And each time it's a bit like a kind of a tattoo, really. Again, lining up that halfway line, the edge of the arm. I'm hoping this works. It's quite you see, so now I've done that on every side, and that produces a nice little flat base. I'll be doing a live fold at some point of this as well, but you will get there. If you turn it over, you form this lovely shape. It's kind of like a bit of a 3D star. And then what you can do is you can stick each individual petal in there, and it should fit quite nicely, I've found. So you've got a little tiny bit of the green if you were using green in there. And again, actually I found just with glue I was able to hold each one in place and build up the flower. Hopefully you might, should you be able to do that challenge, create something like this. I hope you've enjoyed that. Happy folding and enjoy those blossom. Maybe you'll keep it simple, or maybe you'll take on my challenge. Yeah, and I hope you can go and actually enjoy and experience real blossom yourself too. Thank you. Bye bye.